Hello my friends, William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. Today I'm making a juice with 4 different kinds of greens, 1 cucumber, carrots, and a number of other ingredients. Let's look at those ingredients. Now, in addition to my carrots, I have French sorrel, the kohlrabi greens of course, and the cucumber, 2 different kinds of kale and collard greens, plus some tomatoes, 1 huge beet, turmeric, garlic, and ginger. Before we start making juice, I want to point out that I'm using the front-loading feed tube. This is the best feed tube on the market. It eliminates blowback 100%. And in addition to that, you can see inside to see if all your produce is shred. The feed tubes that go straight up and down, you'd have to lean forward, and it's a little bit inconvenient. Now this cutter has over 80 teeth cut into the 5 blades. Let's put that on. And the cutter shreds produce 4 degrees centigrade cooler. Now the Whole Health Foundation model has a thermometer to monitor the temperature, and even though you can go as high as 35 or 40, I like to keep my temperature below 20 degrees. Now I'm going to start by feeding in 3 or 4 ice cubes to cool down the cutter and the feed tube, because today it's a very hot and humid day here in sunny Southern California. So let's feed through the ice cubes. Now the temperature's over 20. You can go as high as 35 or 40, but I like to keep mine below 20. Next, the garlic. Now I notice my juice is working hard, so I'm going to clean the grid. Yeah, the ginger definitely clogged up the grid, so we'll take off the pulp on both sides. I notice I'm using the number 2 grid, which is better for carrots, so I'm going to put in the J grid, J for juice, because that's better for greens. Now for some curly leaf kale. Temperature's over 20 again, and this is a good time to clean the grid. Clean your grid often. Whenever your motor is difficult to work, clean your grid, and that'll make everything else easier. So a few more ice cubes. Here's the last of my carrots. I want to point out one thing that I absolutely love about this front-loading feed tube. You can see inside, and I see that all the produce is already shred, but I get into the habit of putting a couple of fingers full of pulp to push anything through that I may not see. I'm going to clean the feed tube, and this large bottle brush comes with every juicer sold by Whole Health Foundation. In fact, you get everything you need when you buy a juicer from Whole Health Foundation. So let's clean this feed tube, and we'll set that aside. Next, with a wet brush, we clean the round escutcheon on the back of the feed tube plate. And you can use a damp cloth, or if you have a spray nozzle like I do, just spray it down and then reassemble, and we'll start mixing the produce. Now next, normally I would mix the carrots with the produce, but this bowl is very full and it's going to be difficult to mix, so I'm going to start transferring 4 or 5 large containers of pulp into this large Pyrex bowl, and that should be about enough. And then we'll mix this produce. We'll mix this in a little bit later. Oh, that's much better. Set this aside for now. And the cloths come out of the freezer. You need to crack the ice on the edge of the table to make them easier to take apart. And then we'll unfold them into the juicing tray. Next, we'll start filling the cloths and collecting juice. I'm going to leave a space up here for the folded cloths. We'll put 3 scoops into each cloth. Fold them in thirds just like they came in the package. And I'm going to press 2 cloths full at one time. While this is pressing, I'm going to fill the rest of these cloths. Now this is very important. Put the cloths in centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off a little. Now you back it off a little because you don't want that press to go up too fast. When you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. And here's my 6 cloth less work method. This goes forward, that goes over, the spent cloths go on top, 2 more cloths in the press, centered again, left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it up. And because we have enough room now, we'll put the rest of this pulp in here and we'll mix that in. I'm not finished pressing these 2 cloths yet, and I notice my bowl is full. So I'm going to shut my machine off, set this back, press it later after I fill some bottles with juice. Now you'll notice I'm not filling it to the top. I'm leaving about 8 to 10% for filtered water or distilled water. You could even use bottled water. Now these patties have gotten very, very thick, so they really won't accommodate 2 scoops of pulp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on 1 scoop of pulp, so that the patty doesn't get too thick. If it's too thick, it won't fit into the press area. So we'll put 1 scoop, fold it into thirds again. Advance that all the way when you're on your last cloth. And again, because this is very, very thick, we'll put in only 1 scoop. I'll remind you again, I'm leaving about 10% to add water because this juice is very concentrated, and I bring my juice up to the curve in the neck here. So I'm going to use a spatula to get the rest of this pulp out. Now my friends, as you can see, I've repackaged the already pressed and spent pulp into 3 double packets, and what I'm going to do is use a measuring beaker to measure how much more juice we can get. So let's put 2 of these in the press. Now there, for my 3rd set of cloths, I've already got 16 ounces. That's a little more than 1 bottle of juice. Well, my friends, as you can see, there's another 10 ounces of juice after I repackage the juice cloths a 2nd time, so that's a little more than 2 more bottles of juice. And there we have droplets, so we'll stop here. Now before I press the water out of these cloths, I'm going to clean the sides and the gullies to loosen any pulp that's there. And then I'm going to fold these cloths into thirds, press the water out. And these cloths, I noticed, were squirting at me, so I'm going to set them to dry outside on the clothesline and switch to a new set of cloths next time I make juice. Whenever your juice cloths squirt, set them aside, and I've used these 3 or 4 times, which is typical. Now I'm going to press the water out. Before I press the water out with a damp paper towel, I'm going to go around the edge of the upper plate and get any juice remains. Now I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but we obviously had some juice remains up there. You don't want to leave a dirty upper press plate for flies and God knows what else to get up there and make it even worse. Now normally after pressing it would go into the freezer in a plastic bag, but this time these are going to go on the clothesline, and I'll start with a new set of 6 new cloths next time I make juice. Now from this batch of juice we got 15 bottles, and I'm topping this off with water, and then I'm going to cap it off and put it in the fridge after we do a taste test. Well, my friends, as you can see, we have 5, 10, 15 bottles of juice, enough for a taste test. And remember that 2 of these bottles, a little more than 2 of them, came from pressing the already spent pulp that most people would throw away by repackaging it and pressing it again. Well, my friends, here we have another batch of juice with triple the amount of greens. Oh, this juice is delicious. I can taste the tomato in this juice, but definitely I can taste the French sorrel. Well, my friends, I hope you like what you've seen, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. I'll see you in the next video.